Hello, you. Welcome to PalaceFanTV. I'm Jim Daly. This is our Everton preview video, and to look forward to Monday night's game, I've got Baz from ToffeeTV. How you doing, mate?
I'm okay, thanks, Jim.
Good stuff. So Palace Everton, or specifically Everton Palace, in the last few seasons have been spookily similar games because it was 3-2 Palace each time, and even the goals and the order of the goals all seemed quite similar. What's going on? Why? And does that mean it's going to be 3-2 again Palace on Monday night?
Well, where do you want at me out with 3-2 us? And yeah, both games have been a bit different at Selhurst Park, haven't they? It was a 0-0 and Everton won 1-0. So
Yeah.
it's all the goals seem to be at our place,
My
which is a bit of a mad one.
my mate, I couldn't get to the Everton home game last season. Then my gave my mate my season ticket, and he turned up about 5 minutes late. And of course, Lukaku had already scored to make it
Yeah,
1-0.
yeah.
But because of where he sat in the ground, he couldn't see the scoreboard, so he sat there for 85 minutes and came away thinking 0-0. That'll do.
0-0.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
that's all
result.
right.
It's only when he watched Match Today later that he realised we'd lost 1-0.
Yeah.
But goals seem to be a theme of Everton games this season, whether it's scoring lots or letting in late ones at Bournemouth. Is that a concern that there seems to be goals going in at both ends?
Not at the other end, no, because we're scoring plenty, so there's no concerns there. In terms of what we're conceding, strangely enough, we've not been that bad, to be honest with you. I know we let three in at the weekend, which was utterly ridiculous, given the context of the game, given the fact that Bournemouth didn't really have to do that much to score past us. It was a case of, this is not being disrespectful to Bournemouth, but it was a case of Everton thinking he'd won the game.
Hmm.
And then when you let the momentum drop and the other team picks it up, it's very difficult to try and get a foot back in. And Everton done that. We scored in the 95th minute and thought it was all over. And then our manager decided in his wisdom to make a substitution, even though the referee had just said the game's finished. So obviously that adds 30 seconds, to which Bournemouth score 18 seconds into that 30. So it was a very, very odd game. But that's, we conceded three against Manchester United at home. And then the other games, we haven't been too bad, to be fair. But Crystal Palace at Goodison terrifies me. And I never thought I'd say that. I'd never thought I'd say that because a couple of seasons ago, you kind of smashed our Champions League expectations, our hopes to bits when you come down to Goodison and beat us on that Wednesday night in April, that balmy night. And then obviously last season was Quarters had a good time, I think, last year to be, but that's not being taking anything away from Crystal Palace, who were marvellous that day. But Everton we started really, really slow last season when you won at Goodison. But it's always going to be a problem for us because at the moment we feel as though, as Evertonians, or a lot do, that Tim Howard's on the downward spiral. And is therefore suspect to crosses and balls into the box and stuff, which Crystal Palace are marvellous at. And especially with the likes of Connor Wickham, who's decent in the air, a big physical unit. That would be an area that'll concern us. We had Joel in the other night in the Carling Cup, and I'm not alone in thinking that he's ready. He should be our number one keeper now. He's of course played down at Selhurst Park back in January, kept the clean sheet when we won 1-0. So obviously Tim Howard's not in great form, and that's a cause for concern for our defence really. But we've done okay. We lost Jagielka, but Funes Mori's come in and done okay. So like I say, the Bournemouth game is a little bit of a weird one for us to actually concede 3 goals, but seeing as though your team loves Merseyside, whether it be Everton or Liverpool, since you got back 4 times, isn't it? 4 games, 4 wins
Yeah, it is.
in the Premier League since you got back up. So I'm looking at Monday with a little bit of trepidation, I'm not going to lie.
Um, where can Palace win the game? Because away from home, we play this 4-2-3-1 with the wingers. It's very much all about the wingers. If they had good games away from home, then we tend to do quite well. Everton have historically had quite good fullbacks. Seamus Coleman, I think, is probably one of the best fullbacks in the league. And obviously, Baines isn't playing, but you've got this young lad, Galloway.
Yeah.
How's he been doing? And do you think that the way Palace play with the wings could still cause Everton problems on Monday?
Okay, first part of that, yeah, Seamus Coleman, agree with you. He's most definitely for me personally, he's the second best right back in the Premier League. I think Zabaleta is the top one still.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Joel Ward, but okay.
Joel, well, to be fair, I've been watching Joel Ward. He's been doing quite well. He's had a little bit of a stormer against Newcastle last week.
Yeah.
And then obviously Klein, who used to be at Crystal Palace a few years ago before going to Southampton. He's another good one. Unfortunately, plays for the other lot. So our fullbacks, Leighton Baines, came on the other night for 20 minutes at Middlesbrough. I personally will put him in. I think Brendan Galloway's done fantastically for us. He's only a young lad. He's more of a centre-half, but he's done great out on the left. But just the last couple of games, he's been exposed a little bit, and Crystal Palace are mustard down them flanks. Zaha's suspended, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
Which is, to be honest, the way he's been playing, that's a real big boost for Everton. But I love Balassi. I loved them when you were in the Championship. I remember tweeting them saying, get yourself to Everton. Palace made that unbelievable run and got up. And he's been phenomenal. I know he's one of those players that can be hot or cold. Realise that. He tends to be very hot on Merseyside. So I think maybe he likes the climate here.
Maybe.
So he'd probably be great for Everton. Balassi is definitely a threat. Puncheon is another one who's a threat. So yeah, Crystal Palace will... If they use the wings the way they have done in the 2 games previously at Goodison Park, then they will cause us problems. I think Alan Pardew has been much maligned by Evertonians when he was at Newcastle because he was... if he was chocolate, he would eat himself. Let's have it right. He loves it, does Pards. However, since he's gone to Crystal Palace, mass respect for the man. He's been absolutely brilliant for Palace. Palace have been one of the most improved sides, I would say, over the last 12 months. Phenomenal away record at the end of last season. Won something ridiculous, like 8 out of 10, didn't you?
Something crazy,
like,
yeah.
And I've been really impressed. I mean, you won at Anfield the other week, so all Evertonians love you. That's all you give it to the clocks the other week. But, you know, Palace are doing fantastically well, so they can cause Everton problems. You know, they get the ball, he breaks so quickly. Fairly impressed with them on Saturday, smashing Newcastle. But obviously Balassi was used down the middle a little bit more, wasn't he?
Yeah. But
obviously with Zaha being out, maybe he'll be pushed back out to the flank. So we are very wary of it because we know how dangerous you are on the break. You know, so quick on the break. Pressed us brilliantly last season at Goodison. You know, when we were trying to get the ball out from the keeper, you were on us immediately, and that caused us lots of problems. But Everton are scoring lots of goals. We've got Deulofeu back, who is literally on fire at the moment. He's fantastic. He was fantastic again the other night. Lukaku's got, I think, 14 goals now this season, doing really, really well. So Everton are playing well offensively as well. So it could be another goal fest.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it might be. I genuinely am going to go and put money on 3-2 Palace. But how
that happens again for 3 years on? I'm never speaking to you again, Jim.
But speaking of Lukaku, I think he and Ross Barkley worry me, I think, because they both look in fantastic form. And we do have the defenders that I think on their day could deal with them. Delaney played very well against Diego Costa earlier in the season. But how do you stop someone like Lukaku? Because he is in fantastic form. And is there a way to nullify him and Barkley at all?
I think the best thing to do, looking at it from... if I was lining up against Everton, would be try to isolate Lukaku as much as possible because he's not great at keeping the ball. His touch still lets him down at times. He doesn't protect the ball very well. But if he gets a run on you, you're in trouble. Because he is powerful. I think that's what a lot of teams done last year. They just isolated him, and Everton didn't really, until we got Aaron Lennon in on loan, didn't really have an answer in other areas. And Ross Barkley was below par last season, but he's come back strong. He's strong this season. But like I say, Deulofeu will be the one you've got to watch. The one who, if I was Alan Pardew on Monday, I'd be looking to try and isolate Deulofeu, try and get a couple of men round him, stop the supply to Lukaku. But it depends how Everton line up, because what Everton have done really, really well at home this season is when Aruna Kone's been in alongside Rom, his strength and power has created that space for Lukaku, and it's been Everton have scored 10 goals in the last 2 home games, and I can tell you that in both games they took the foot off the pedal after an hour, and it much to the frustration of the Evertonians, because if we'd have carried on against Sunderland, we'd have got 10 because we literally took them apart at ease. And again, against Villa, we got 4-0 up after an hour, and it was, job done now. And we'll leave it there. And that's probably one of the frustrations we have as fans, is that we want to see them carrying on, going for the kill. So we're confident we'll score goals. And Crystal Palace have got some, Scott Dan, another good defender, like you say, Delaney's a good defender, keepers have done well. So we're well aware that Palace is strong at the back. But we're quite confident we can score goals. We scored a lot of goals. I think we're the third top scorers in the Premier League at the moment. So that, so we're confident that way, but while we're being confident that way, we're obviously very wary at the other end how good you are on the break. Yeah,
it's funny though, because the goals have sort of been our problem this season. We haven't, none of our traditional strikers.
You got 5 the other day.
Yeah, we did, but none of them came from a striker, although Balassi was sort of almost playing up front in the middle. But the goals have been a worry, but I do think Monday night will have goals at either end. So let's try and nail down a prediction. I think it's going to be 3-2 Palace, going by history. But what do you think the score's going to be?
I'm gonna go 4-2 Everton.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Goals. I don't know why. Just because I don't want us to lose 3-2. I think, to be honest with you, I think we lost a couple of games in October. Excuse me, against Manchester United and Arsenal, but we bounced back really well. And had we have hung on against Bournemouth at the weekend, we would have taken 10 from 12 and we'd have been right in the race at the top. We still are, don't get me wrong, we're only a couple of points. I think we're 5 or 6 points off the top 4. We'd have been a win away from the top 4. We've just seemed to have got a little pattern of play. I'm hoping, we bounced back on Tuesday in the Capital One Cup, quite well at Middlesbrough and got a good result up there with the goals again, So I'm confident we will score goals. I wouldn't disrespect Crystal Palace in any way, shape or form because history tells me not to, and because, like I said to you before, I think that they're fantastic. The fans are marvellous, and every Evertonian has got a soft spot after Istanbul being 3-0 down against Liverpool a couple of years ago and pulling that back to 3-3. Every Evertonian, I think, probably our second favourite side. So, we're well aware it'll be a tough game, but we have got to be being the home side and being a team that has got aspirations for European places this year, like yourselves. But I think we've got to be looking to try and win this game, but while being mindful that Crystal Palace can do us damage as they have done in the last couple of seasons. So I'm going to stick with 4-2.
Okay.
But you say that's a wild stab in the dark in the hope.
Well, I think we're both right. There's going to be goals. I think there's going to be goals. So we can now safely say it will probably be 0-0.
0-0 board.
Good. Baz, thank you very much for chatting, mate. Really appreciate that.
No worries, Jim, and hope to see you soon. Enjoy the game.
Good, man. Thanks, mate. So you can subscribe to ToffeeTV if you want to check out all their stuff. It's very good, but don't forget to subscribe to PalaceFanTV as well if you haven't yet. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Comment below, what is the score going to be? Are there going to be goals? Or are we completely wrong? It's going to be 0-0. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Snapchat. We'll be doing snaps of every away game this season. And that's it. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.